Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Sankar. I am the Health Services Engagement Lead to the American Red Cross in New York City. If you're watching this video, it means you've shared your interest to become a volunteer with us and you would like to undergo the first few steps for registration. So the first step would be to first go to a web browser, whether or not that be Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, and you're going to Google search for Volunteer Connection. So Volunteer Connection. The first search result for Volunteer Connection should be this link here. It's the web link volunteerconnection.redcross.org, and it says Volunteer Connection American Red Cross. We're going to go ahead and click on this. So what Volunteer Connection is just a central hub for all of our volunteers to use to manage and track their hours, in addition to set their general availability throughout the week for any impending opportunities that we may have for you. So when you're redirected to this page, the site is pretty much split in half, where one side you would use your login credentials to get into Volunteer Connections, and the other side, which we're more focused on in this video, is to fill out an application to get a Volunteer Connections account. So it says not a volunteer, and then there's a red tab here that says get started, which is clickable. We're going to go ahead and click on it. So once we do click on that red tab, we should be redirected to this page where it says become a volunteer. We're going to go ahead and scroll down. So at the time of this video, which is September 7, 2017, we're currently undergoing two major operations nationally, and that's for Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Harvey. And there is a third hurricane that's predicted to hit us, which is Hurricane Jose, and we may see something here regarding that soon. So for those of you who are in New York and you are interested in volunteering with us, I would not recommend that you click on one of these links here. I would recommend instead that you click on this link, and that's for two reasons. One being, by clicking in this link, the chapter that's closest to you will be able to process your application. So in the greater New York region, there are three sub-chapters. There's the American Red Cross of the Metro North, there's the American Red Cross in Long Island, and then there is the American Red Cross of New York City. By using this link, the chapter that's closest to you will be able to process your application and essentially become your home base. And this is important for the second reason because by establishing a home base, you can do one of two things. You could open up doors for volunteer opportunities within that community around the chapter, or two, if you do plan to advance your volunteer career with us, there will be multiple courses for you to take at that chapter and training opportunities at that chapter. So again, if you are in New York, I would recommend you not click on these two links, but to instead click on this link. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. Great. So the next step now would be to complete this form. So there are 4 parts to this form, but it's really the first part that requires some information from you. Parts 2, 3, and 4 are just asking you to read some literature and to agree to some terms. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through this with you. So the first slot asks for your name, first and last. We're just going to go ahead and insert your name. The second part asks for an email. I recommend that you put an email that you check frequently. So this is my email address. You are free to email me if you need help troubleshooting. Perhaps you had some issues getting to this point, or you have concerns about what happens after this application. You could definitely email me and I'll do my best to help you. The third part of this first section would be to add your date of birth. So it's month, day, year. The fourth question will be for asking for your address. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to put the American Red Cross New York City chapter address, but be sure to include your address. The next and final part of this section that's required is for you to add a phone contact. So although it says home phone here, you could specify whether or not the number that you put is a mobile number or a landline. So I'm going to go ahead and put the American Red Cross number. And you do have the option to add an alternative number here as well. Although optional, this last part here, I would recommend that if you do speak another language fluently, that you do add the language you speak and your proficiency level before moving on to the next page. So again, once you filled in your name, your email, your date of birth, your address, and a phone number that we could contact you with, go ahead and hit next page. So when you do hit next page, it doesn't kick you to the top of the second page. So once you do hit next page, you're going to want to scroll back up. So as you can see right here, we are on the second page. So now you would need to read through some literature. So the first set of things that you need to read is confidential information and intellectual property agreement. So we're just going to scroll through this. Please be sure to read it. And at the end of it, we're going to certify that we've reviewed the statement above by checking I agree. Then we're going to hit next page. Again, it doesn't kick you to the top of the page. When you do click on next page, you want to scroll back up. When you scroll back up, you can see that we are on the third section of this form, which is giving you some information on the information release. We're going to make sure that we read this and certify that we've reviewed the information above. Then hit next page. We're now on the fourth and final page of this application. This is telling you some information about the Code of Business Ethics and Conduct. We're going to make sure that we read through this. And then we're going to certify that we've reviewed and agreed to the statement above by checking I agree. So before we hit submit, there are a couple things I want you to be aware of. The first being, if we scroll back up, it says right here that after completing the application, you will need to now authorize a background check. So remember, in the first part of this form, I asked you to use an email that you frequently check. Once you submit this form, you will be contacted and you will be provided a link to initiate a background check. So to initiate the background check, you will need a Social Security. If you do not have a Social Security, that's absolutely fine. There are still ways for us to instruct you to go beyond this stage for you to volunteer with us. So there is a section here at the bottom of the form that asks you to describe any potential conflicts. If you have any work conflicts or personal conflicts, you can definitely let us know here. In the event that you do not have a Social Security, you can let us know here as well, and then submit your form. So before I end the video, I just want to explain that because of the situation we're currently in, with 2 impending hurricanes and a third on the way, we will be experiencing some backlogs, and I would suggest that you do not be discouraged if we do not contact you in a timely manner. In fact, I do have a way for us to avoid such a situation, and that's this form right here. So again, backlogs are to be occurred, just given how sensitive this entire situation is with the 3 hurricanes. So what I will do is, once you complete and you submit this form, I will then ask you to fill out this form here. So this form, as per YouTube, I can't link it anywhere on the screen. So this form will be in the description. So please check the description after you finish submitting your application for this form. And what I will be doing with this form is, based on the chapter that you choose is closest to you, I will shoot this form out to the Volunteer Resources department at that chapter, so they could go ahead and look out for you. So if in the event that there is a backlog, the American Red Cross chapter that's closest to you will know to look out for you. So on this form, I just basically ask you to provide your full name, provide the email that you used to complete that volunteer application, and to state which chapter you're closest to. So if you're within the 5 boroughs, choose New York City. If you are out in Long Island, choose Long Island. And if you're in the Yonkers, Westchester area, or anything outside of that, choose Metro North. And then there is a 4th section here that asks, you heard something in the background. There is a 4th section here that asks if you have any questions or concerns. If you have any questions or concerns about your application and submitting it, you could definitely let me know here. And just based on your email that you gave me in this section of the form, I'll be able to contact you as efficiently and fast as possible and get to your inquiry. There is also a section here to provide suggestions. If you have any suggestions for me about videos I can make in the future, or ways for me to improve this particular video, please let me know and I'll make those improvements. I do plan to update these videos frequently, as the registration process may differ throughout the course of this year as a result of these hurricanes. So just some additional information for you. Again, this form link will be in the description of this YouTube video. If you have any questions, you can contact me. This is my information. So my name is Ryan Sankar. I'm the volunteer partner and health services engagement lead at the New York City chapter. This is the address to the New York City chapter, and this is my email. Alternatively, if you would like to contact someone directly at the chapter, you could do so here. So again, this is the address to the New York City Greater New York chapter, and this is the phone number. Although it says closed now, there's always someone on the line 24/7 who will be able to answer your queries. So that being said, thank you very much for your interest in volunteering with us. I look forward to seeing you soon. And again, please don't be discouraged if there is a backlog and you don't hear back from us within 72 hours. So long as you fill out that form, which is here, you're all set. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.